Harrison with you, and as you know, traveling around Earth is one of my favorite events. I love to be able to take people to places where they may not ordinarily be able to go, or where they will end up going after they see why it's worth going there to begin with. One of my favorite places on Earth is Switzerland. Why? Do I even need to fill in that blank? Do I even really need to ask that question? Everybody on Earth has heard of Switzerland, a place about the size of Rhode Island. There would be a reason that everyone on Earth has heard of this place, because it is no less than, well, perfect, and that would not be over-egging the pudding at all. I'm going to bring on a couple of people today who are really amazing because they're doing the very thing that we all want to do here in the U.S., but they've been doing it long-term already throughout Europe. The notion of good trains, decent airplanes. Here's a radical one: customer service. Ooh, all that good stuff. It's just part of the Swiss way so much. And I want to introduce Jackie Pash and Jim Prlchlik. And Jim, first let's talk to you. You're with RailEurope, and trains, rail in Europe is the primary form of transportation, not a big car with four doors and wings on the side.
Well, yeah, that's thank you for that intro, and it's quite true. And in fact, in Switzerland, it's even more the case. And in Switzerland, it's kind of unique too, because it's not just a train system, but it's a transport system, which combines trains, ferries on 7 or 8 different lakes.
We are in West Hollywood, in Marilyn Monroe's former apartment, so ferries may have a different connotation.
Okay, well, ferry boats, let's say.
Yes.
As well as a really unique Swiss phenomenon called postal buses. So the towns and villages that do not get access by train or by ferry boat have a postal bus which takes passengers to it. And all of those are integrated into one system, including, for that matter, transportation within the cities. If you're in Geneva or Zurich, the public transportation, buses, trams, streetcars are all covered by the Swiss transport system, Swiss travel system, excuse me.
And one of the things we hear about with Swiss trains, and I've been on them, I'm shocked. And I'm just going to tell you why. We've been to Disneyland, we've been to Disney World. This is the closest we get. These modern, sleek, shiny, clean, amazing, or many of our newer airports have these kinds of magical, like, why can't we have this everywhere? But I guess the key is, in Switzerland, it is everywhere. There isn't not that. It's all that. That's the standard, isn't it?
Yes, and the amazing thing, again, is how well it's integrated. We'll hear in a second about Swiss Air. And the airports in Zurich and Geneva, where you have access by train right from the airport into town and to other destinations. And a really interesting product that we sell called air baggage, where you can check your bags in at the airport at LAX, and they'll be delivered to whatever city you're going to in Switzerland. So it's a nice little phenomenon of integration once again.
Yeah.
Everything's clockwork.
So as you're traveling, instead of having to haul a 90-pound suitcase with a steamer trunk and your servants behind you, you can actually ship them to your hotel and show up with a Kleenex as your baggage, and you will not be perspiring.
There you go.
Well, I know a lot of people who do go to Switzerland tend to be people who are maybe a little more educated and a little more world savvy and all of that. So that's going to really appeal to people, not have to be covered in sweat. You know what I mean? And I realize that's a very crude statement, but it is the truth. When you show up somewhere, you want to be like ready to go and not worn out, right?
Right, and that way you don't have to deal with, you get off the airplane, you get on a train, and you don't have to deal with transferring other ways.
Let's talk for a second to Jackie Pash, who's sitting right next to you. And Jackie, you're with Swiss. Swiss, of course, is the national airline of Switzerland. Swiss has a worldwide reputation for many decades of being among the safest that the world has ever known. You can reliably get on Swiss, not only have premium first-class service, not only have actual filet mignon cooked medium rare with a glass of fine wine on a linen tablecloth, and I'm not making this up. This is how Swiss actually does it. But you'll actually land exactly on the right second, to the best of their ability. Really?
You know us well.
I know
you know
well.
us very well.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. You know, the thing about flying Swiss, it is refined. We are a premium airline. We believe in extreme convenience and making it as comfortable as possible for you. Because the whole idea is to make that aircraft that you're sitting in that seat, whether you're in first, business, or economy, feel like home. So your experience starts at LAX and continues throughout the flight. Now, before we get on the trains, I will mention this, and using the Fly-Rail service, which is fabulous, especially with ski season upon us, right? Who wants to drag a snowboard along? We just opened up a brand new arrivals lounge. So when you fly LAX, you could, rather than sit and wait for the carousel to go around if you need to, you can go to the arrivals lounge, relax, take a shower, have a beverage. We even have little rooms available if you want to take a quick nap before you conveniently jump on the train to go to where you want to go. That is brand new.
Let me interrupt you. You're telling me that I go to Switzerland and I can take a nap in the airport.
Yes.
Now, the airport that I fly out of, LAX, if I tried to take a nap in there, first of all, I'd walk away in handcuffs. Or two, the noise would be so loud. I don't understand. How do you take a nap in an airport?
Well, you'd be surprised. People would do that. We have hotel rooms. We call them hotel rooms within the arrivals lounge, and you can go there and you open up the door. It looks like a five-star hotel room. So you could take a relaxing nap, get yourself together, take a shower, whatever you want to need, and then continue on to your journey. So again, it stretches this idea of convenience and comfort, and forget about the hassles. LAX, yes, I hear you, Carrie. I fully get it. Actually, I'm going to be flying out of there quite shortly. So we get it. And it is, again, it's refined, it's comfort, it's luxury. And you know what? The better part is it's your choice.
Yeah.
So if you want to sleep, you want to relax, Jim and I want to have a meeting in first class, this is all possible. So at Swiss, we make it very easy and very possible for you to determine how you want to relax on your flight. So if I can take it a step further, because I really want you to relax when you come fly us, okay?
I'm relaxed
Can you?
now.
Good. That's great. We just recently introduced and we redesigned our first class pajamas. Yes, we have pajamas.
Pajamas?
Yeah, sure.
Wait. Now, I realize I sound like a Luddite here, like a knuckle-walking Hispidulite.
No.
A caveman, an Australopithecine here. But pajamas on an airplane, that means you'd have to have a bed.
We do. And we have a bed that measures longer than 6 feet. So that's in first class. And actually, it's in business class, too. So, yes, and we give you the pajamas, a nice little drink so you could snooze off, and you arrive in Switzerland very comfortably.
You have pajamas with
I
you?
do, and I'm going to let you try these because you're so fit. I really didn't know what size to bring, so I brought them all.
Harrison with you. We are talking to Jackie Pash and Jim and my tiny little reindeer Chihuahua, who definitely wants to be part of this conversation. We're talking about traveling in Switzerland and to Switzerland, of course, by air, which would be Swiss. Swiss is the national airline of Switzerland. An impeccable reputation, guaranteed to get you there on time. They are giving you pajamas. You can take naps. You can have meetings in first class. It is first class. Even if it's not first class, it's first class. I think that's the part that's really exciting. And Jackie Pash, who's with Swiss, is about to give me a pair of the pajamas that they actually hand out on the airplane so freely. And if you're just joining us, we're talking to these two. And one of the things that we've learned is that Switzerland has a fully integrated rail system. So basically, you can live there your entire life, have a full and complete life, and never once need a car, and can get everywhere you need to go by rail. Public transportation that is Disneyland on steroids. I mean, pneumatic doors, gourmet food. It's really kind of unbelievable. And the part that I think is amazing to a lot of people who are potential travelers is this is real. You didn't just invent this for some movie set. This is how you actually live on a normal day-to-day basis.
And I think Jim and I will both agree. I mean, Switzerland is about quality. It's about a world-renowned quality. So as representative of the airline and proud employee to work for them, as well as Jim with his world in railways, that is our goal every single day. We work very hard to deliver that quality. So again, the minute you step on board to the minute Jim drops you off in St. Moritz, maybe, right?
Personally?
personally.
Yes.
Well, he tries very hard to do that, don't you, Jim? You ski
I
often
do
there.
it somewhat regularly, yes.
Your skis and snowboards are waiting there. But, one thing I want to mention, Carrie, and I'm sorry if I'm going back a little bit, is in Swiss business, we talked a lot about first, but may I mention Swiss business? Because
Sure.
you're going to love this.
Yeah. Business class.
Business class out of LAX. We have a seat that converts into a bed, but the beauty of it is I like to refer to as a sleep number seat. So you take the dial and you could set it according to how comfortable you want that seat or how firm you want that seat. How great is that? The choice is really yours. It's
I think I'm already
We got you.
overwhelmed
We
by
got
the
you.
pajamas.
We know
If
what
I
you
have to
need.
start making choices about how firm would I like my pillow,
Yeah.
and is the movie loud enough at this angle while I'm about to nap in between hors d'oeuvres. That's a great way
it's
to fly.
special. It's very special.
Yeah.
We welcome you.
Yeah, we
Anytime.
can't adjust our pillows on the trains, but they are spacious, comfortable seating throughout Switzerland. And the interesting thing is, virtually anywhere that you want to talk about in Switzerland, be it Geneva, Zurich, the Jungfrau, everywhere is accessible by trains. And all of those places actually have access to these scenic trains, which are really the highlight of Switzerland, be it the Glacier Express, which goes from the resort of St. Moritz to the resort of Zermatt, right through central Switzerland, or the Bernina Express, which goes from the Ticino up into St. Moritz, the Golden Pass across from Lac Le Mans to Interlaken and on all the way on to Zurich eventually.
And let me just sort of frame that so we know what you're talking about. Switzerland's trains, on one side you've got palm trees and a sunburn in the Italian part where they speak Italian, and then in just a few hours on the train you're in the highest part of Europe where we have the Matterhorn glaciers, the world famous Alps and Ricola and health and herbs and all that. And then we continue north and we end up in Zurich, which is considered Europe's probably cleanest, best place to live in many ways. So you go from snow and ice and glaciers to palm trees, all on the same super train. And then we can speak French, Romanche, the last vestiges, I think, of Latin spoken in the world. 30,000 people speak Romanche.
Around St. Moritz, exactly.
And this is all in one country, and somehow you guys are integrated, like you get along with each other, like 5 disparate cultures.
Well, it also means 4 different cuisines available too, which is really nice,
That's the answer.
and all available on the train. And these scenic trains though are really spectacular because they do go up and over the glaciers and through the mountains and some of the most rugged terrain in all of Europe. It's all viewed from the comfort of first-class carriage on a train.
And Jim, if I'm not mistaken, and we'll get to you in just a second, Jackie Pash, with Swiss, one of the things that you guys have is some of your rails that go through, if I'm not mistaken, the Glacier Tour, for instance. The trains are special because the rails are thinner than they would be anywhere else. You actually use the original gauge rails still from the 1800s. So we actually switch into different trains, right?
Well, you have a whole range of things from rack railroads to narrow gauge railroads to cogwheel railroads. For example, if you go on the Golden Pass, which is a series of trains actually, you leave from Montreux, you go up and onto the Bernese Oberland through Gstaad into a town near Spiez, where that's all narrow gauge railroad.
Yeah.
Then you change to a regular train, a regular gauge that goes into Interlaken, and then from Interlaken to Lucerne, you're on a cog railroad, which has like little teeth that go like on a lever where it's being pulled up basically as it moves. So you've got those. You've got Mount Pilatus, the most
Where they shot the James Bond movie on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
at the top.
Yeah.
But the steepest cog railroad in the world. You've got all kinds of at Mount Titlis, you've got the rotating gondola that does a 360-degree spin as it goes up to the top of the mountain. So there's every different feasible form of transportation all integrated into this system. And with a Swiss Pass, not only do you get all of that covered, the mountaintops, sometimes it's only 50%, but all the other stuff. But you also have free admission to 450 museums in Switzerland. So,
Wait a minute. So with a train ticket...
train pass.
Swiss pass, that lets you get all over the entire country. It also allows me to go to the museums and of this other stuff too.
450 of them, all for free.
450. And this, by the way, Switzerland is where Dada, really got his birth in Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and we love it. Karl Marx, Einstein, right, in Bern. I mean, really, all of much of the greatest thinking and philosophy in modern times happened in Switzerland because you've been neutral since the 1200s. So it's been a hospitable place for people to go, particularly if they had any radical ideology, which might be recycling in some countries. It doesn't really matter, but all that, it's a welcoming, warm spot. And Jackie, you were going to comment for just a second, think a little more on air travel.
Yeah, I was going to add to it. I think if you look at the American traveling public
Yeah.
outside of domestic travel, we don't get that much holiday time. So we really try to compress whatever we get into our journeys beyond. So I think Switzerland is the perfect answer for that. You have, a week off maybe, and then you're panicked because you're with your BlackBerry all the time. How many cultures
have an
do we
iPhone.
come across? All right, iPhone. How many do we come across in Switzerland alone? So what's the, don't jam in 3 or 4 countries on your itinerary.
Right, you get it all in one country in Switzerland.
You get it all in one country.
As you pointed out, the 4 different languages, the 4
Yes.
distinct cultures, 4 distinct cuisines, all in one country.
That's
and
true.
It's fabulous.
Yeah, you can do all of Europe, and all of Europe is Switzerland. When you look, if I'm not mistaken, at the very top of the Matterhorn, the peak of that mountain is Africa, from when the continents met at one point and pushed the Earth straight up. That is the Matterhorn. So actually, all of Earth is in Switzerland, not to mention the crown heads of Europe, in a perfectly well-sealed, hermetically protected, perfectly neutral, functioning, good, healthy economy, universal health care country. Am I voting enough yes for Switzerland?
Oh, we appreciate that, don't we, Jim?
Yes, indeed. Keep talking, spread the word to your friends.
Exactly.
I will. I want to thank you both for having come on. Thank you for giving me an airline that I've had the pleasure of traveling on. And by the way, I was on Swiss, I think in about 1999 or so, and they actually let me in the cockpit because I was doing a travel story. And they let me in the cockpit. And I flew over the Matterhorn in the cockpit of whatever it was, a big old jumbo jet. I will never forget that. And I mean, not that we could do that today,
No.
but still,
No.
I don't know
Times
that
have changed.
American Airlines would, come on up. Yeah, take some pictures. I don't think so.
No.
So I love what you guys do. And thank you for also demonstrating to us the solution that many of us seek right now. Reliable public transportation that isn't just moving mammals from A to B, but it's part of your lifestyle, that you can actually continue to do business and work and think and have a relationship while you're traveling, that you're not suddenly removing yourself from comfort into a horrible thing. In fact, it's an upgrade in a lot of ways. Like, I step on a train, it's like, woohoo, here we go. Totally different. And you've demonstrated how it's not only possible, but really doable. And what is Switzerland, 7 million people?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
So for 7 million people to pull this off, LA is double that size, and I think we're starting to consider spreading our subway into another area that nobody goes to. So we look to you for better thinking.
Thanks
Well, thank you so
much.
much.
All right, thank you guys.
All right.